Today is April the 27th, a historic day. Behind me in the background is my Aquatherm wood stove that I purchased in 1990. I don't even know how I found this wood stove. I can remember paying somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10 grand to purchase the stove, have it brought in, put the lines in, and make it work between the house and the barn. That's 1990 prices. The stove is still working. It's very inefficient, and as I enter into my retirement years, I'm starting to think about less work and doing things smarter. So I've been doing a lot of research on wood stoves, and what I found is there's a pile of them out there and it can get confusing really fast. So far I have found that gasification is probably the way I want to go. It's the most efficient wood stoves over multi-pass. My stove from 1990 is basically two metal drums welded together with hot water, and you can throw whatever you want into it and it throws heat. Takes a pile of wood. Last year, warm winter, I probably used between 22 and 25 cord of wood. With a gasification unit, same type of winter, I'm told that it could reduce the wood load down to 12 to 15 cord, which is pretty substantial. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I've been looking at Heatmaster, I've been looking at Polar. I know gasification is kind of the way I'm leaning, and I've been doing a lot of research on them. But today is the last day I'm going to stoke my Aquatherm. So it's kind of a end of an era, I guess you could so to speak. So here's me, one final time, stoking what I call the beast for 2021. So I don't normally have to use a Tiger torch to keep the stove going, but because I'm only burning or stoking once every day and a half, 2 days, I can let it go out. It doesn't warm or cool the house off very much. But today I'm going to use a Tiger torch, and this is how I normally start my wood stove. All outside wood boilers basically work on the same principle. They're heating water, which is then transferred via pipes to either a building such as a house or a shop or greenhouse, whatever you like to be heated. In my case, my house is an older house, built in 1911. I have all the original rads in the house still. So all I do with this wood stove, basically without a heat exchanger, and I know you can't do that, or it's not suggested doing that with the new ones, but without a heat exchanger, I directly pump water from this wood boiler into my house through the rads. Works excellent. Inside my barn, I have in-floor heat on a separate loop with a heat exchanger in between. And that just keeps contaminants from getting into any of the floor pipes. It also helps reduce, apparently for the newer wood stoves, you don't get such a shock and difference in water coming back, which apparently is fairly important. I never worried about it with this one, with the Beast, because it always worked. And then I have forced air into the attic, but I'm hoping to, I've already purchased the old rads. I want to put old radiators into our finished upstairs loft, where I can use a heat exchanger to heat the floor and heat the rads and heat the whole barn with water heat and take the forced air out. It's not that I don't like the forced air, it's noisy, I just like the heat that the old cast rad iron radiators give you. So that's some of the projects I've got on the go with my wood boiler. I've been cutting wood this year with the idea that I'm going to have a new wood boiler in place for this one sometime before fall. And so I've been cutting my wood 20 inches or less, 18 to 20 inches, and I've been splitting so it dries. The new gasification units, I don't have any experience with them, but apparently they need drier heat. I'm not going to get away with just throwing junk in there, which I'll probably miss, but I won't miss having to cut an extra 12 to 15 cord to heat the same square footage.